Hello, the cat has something very special for you before we begin today, but first I'm going to say hi, 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 righty ho, let's begin. Did I really ready me on quicksand? Because I couldn't tell how deep my footprints went. Love takes a redemption heart, the searching on that virgin heart. I'm catatonic in your arms, crying like so much time. Well, howdy ho, wasn't that amazing and wonderful? And didn't you clap? I clapped many times. I clapped so many times. I clap. Because I am such talent. My talent knows various bounds, but you're not allowed to know them because then you'll know the bounds of my talent, and then what will you do? You'll invite me to your house, and you're going to say, hey, we need you to put on this specific kind of show for our child's birthday. And I'll be like, well, that's kind of weird, but I can do that. And then I show up, and I'm getting ready to do my show, and then you say, haha, actually, we need you to do this kind of show. And then I'll be like, oh, you found my weakness. And then I'll have to cry and scream in terror and go, oh my god, don't kill me, oh my god! Except that they can't kill me because, you know, magic marshmallow cat from beyond the stars. So, you know, it all works out in the end. But hey, yeah. Anyway, this is for Scholar of the First Sin. And I finally get a cool new staff in this one. Man, I was also just going to say, I was looking at, like, how much more of this game there is to go. And I certainly have no problem with that. But I just thought it was interesting. Like, this game feels so much longer than I think any of the other Dark Souls games to me. And I don't know if it feels like I have to go through way more areas. Now, I've also been trying to play around with different builds and stuff like that. I played a little bit of Dark Souls 3 trying out a mage build just to see how it was different. And, you know, I think I'm actually enjoying mage builds more and more. I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring and doing some mage builds there too, and I've really been enjoying it. I will say that this area is kind of weird, partially to me, just because, like, it's like pigs. These pigs have way too much health, by the way, and I don't want to kill the magic piggies, but look at what they make me do. Look what this game made me do. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. Man, lady. Non-binary lady, man, they. Yeah. You heard me. But yeah, so I've been playing and I've been checking it out and I've been trying to unlock more spells. And I will say it's also kind of interesting to go from this game, Dark Souls 3, and also play Elden Ring, because those ones don't have this thing where it's like limited by the amount you can cast. In terms of like you see here, I have like 9 great soul arrows. That one is more like, okay, so you have like your FP and you got to use your FP to go through and do things. And it's like, okay, fine, that makes sense. I am completely understanding of that forever and ever. Amen. And I was trying to see which one I think works best. I think the thing with going with slots and just numbers you can cast, it actually gets kind of weird. I think FP is probably just a better system to do it, honestly, but you know, doesn't really matter. I still like all the games. Also, look at that Soul Spear. This thing is just like, I don't care. But yeah, so it was running around a little bit. I've also been trying to see what else I need to do for my magey build, anything cool I need to pick up and all that fun stuff. And I think what I really realized is that by just having a bunch of these amber herbs as well, just being able to just be like, okay, and now I regenerate all my spells. You know, I feel very powerful and very cool and good. But of course, the thing is, I don't really think it's that different. I'm like just having a bunch of upgraded cerulean flasks. I think that they tend to work just about as well and do about the same kind of thing. And so it's kind of interesting to kind of run back and forth between the two. I also just unlocked Azure Comet in Elden Ring, and it was kind of making me go, wait, when do I get something like that in this? When do I get a gigantic death beam that just goes and then, you know, goes across the map and destroys everything that is in my way? When do I get a beam that's so powerful I just stand on my staff and I point it down and I shoot the beam and the beam carries me up into the sky and then lets me fly over all of my enemies? Also, if you run to this chest, don't open it immediately. It's actually a mimok. Oh, man. So then I had to cast spells at a mimic. You know, I was just thinking, why do mimics even, like, bite people like that? Can they even keep that much person in there? It doesn't really look like it. I don't really think that they eat people for lunches is... I mean, does a mimic need lunch? I don't know. I don't know if a mimic needs lunch. What if mimics are actually filter feeders and they just, like, filter out, like, little bugs and things from the air and go and suck them in, and then that's how they get their nutrients? You know, maybe that's what's going on there. Maybe I'm a scientist. And no one acknowledges my scientific prowess as I attempt to get in the hole. But the hole in this case is reality, and I'm getting to the bottom of reality with my hole type powers. You know, actually, I have summoned a miniature black hole before on a spaceship. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that. It didn't go well for the other people. I was fine. They got sucked into a new reality, though. I don't think they were expecting that. I mean, yeah, you know, you travel with a magic eldritch cat from beyond the stars and space. Sometimes things happen, man. It's just the way of it. You gotta accept that. I do also find that by going between the various different games, I'm definitely identifying what I like and don't like in terms of, like, the design of various different areas. I think there's just something about this whole game that just kind of feels a little bit more cartoony, and that's like one of the only real negative complaints I have, because I think other than that, honestly, it's a really, really good game and I really enjoy it. And but there, see, I got the side of wisdom. I also got the dark leggings, but you know, I don't normally wear leggings because then it makes your booty pop, and then sometimes it's like, hey man, I'm not trying to distract people with my big old butt. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta take those fashion sacrifices. And by having those fashion sacrifices, you can go ahead and get cool staves and things like that. But then I was like, oh wait, this staff isn't upgraded enough, so then I had to go upgrade it. But you know, hey. You know, another thing I was just thinking about is, like, what I would really like is, because I talk so much about Warhammer and Dark Souls and spirituality, I would really like to do a faith build, but a faith build where I also am a Space Marine. But I don't want to be a Space Marine because Space Marines are boring. A faith build where I'm also an orc. I think that'd be cool. I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't tried to do a Souls-like Warhammer game, but you know, upon thinking, but I don't know if I'm actually that surprised, because I think that I don't know how good Warhammer is about presenting characters' narratives and making things feel like they belong. However, if you could make like a Age of Sigmar type game where it was like a Souls-like, I think I would enjoy it a lot more and enjoy the thing a lot more. But you know, hey, it's not really that big of a deal. Regardless, we get to have a bit of fun here. We found a new staff. And let me tell you, I always love having new staves. I think staves are cool. I think being able to use new weapons is cool. And sometimes they really change movesets and things like that. I'm actually learning a lot about being a sorcerer while playing this particular Souls game. Because, I mean, I've pretty much never really done a strictly faith or a strictly spellcaster build. I've always done melee, because I like the melee. The melee feels satisfying in these games, and it's nice to go whack, 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 whack. Whack, 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 whack. You know what I mean? Like, so, generally speaking, I don't normally do just, like, strictly speaking caster builds. But I decided to try something a little bit different here. And yeah, I have to say, it's actually pretty rewarding thus far. It's kind of funny because you can there's a lot of threats in the game that you can kind of just basically borderline ignore. Because you can just kind of like go up to like a higher place and just be like, okay, now I'm going to cast a spell, and then you're going to die. And then you're going to die. You're going to die real good. Oh, look at you dying. Wow, look at that magic. I will say I look kind of funny though when I run with this staff. It like looks like I'm holding like a lamp post, and I'm not really sure. I don't think that's the intention, but you know what? I still enjoy it. I still enjoy using the lamp post of reality smashing anyway. It kind of reminds me of like Wizards and Vampire the Masquerade or mages basically are like actually like changing the fundamental nature of reality. But if they do it too much, like they get this thing called paradox and it causes problems. And I thought that's a pretty interesting way to do magic. Just like, like they literally are changing reality, but like people will see them and it creates paradox and it causes like all these issues and things like that. I really like Discworld's take on like witches and wizards and stuff like that as well. I greatly enjoy they're just kind of these silly silly like wizards really like smoking, for instance, and I just always thought that was kind of funny. Um and those books like they have like a whole series of books on wizards and witches that I think are pretty good. And honestly, Discworld is in general just pretty good. I like the silly Billy nature of that kind of stuff, man. I also kind of like the silly Billy nature I get when I engage as a wizard in a world like this, where it's just like, okay, everyone's just so grim and dark, but look at me, I got big bright lights I can cast. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. And then I'm unlocking the occult mysteries, the occult arcane mysteries from beyond. And then, that's like a lot of fun to be like running around and have like all these different things that I can do. And like, break reality a little bit, but instead of breaking reality for like some great mystery or something like that, I'm literally just doing it so I can throw laser beams at somebody and just go. And I greatly enjoy that, I gotta say. Although sometimes it is still a bit of a question, just like, oh, I was silly for sitting there. Like what makes a game worth focusing on or not worth focusing on, or what makes like a certain skill or class worth focusing on. So it was kind of funny. I've gone over this before, but I do have two accounts. One where I can play these Souls games and Elden Ring and all that, like with other people if I wanted to, and then the other one where I'm just banned. And why am I banned? I'm banned because I'm always messing with cheats, right? And I was talking to somebody about this, and I told them that one of the reasons I like to mess with cheats is not just so because it's fun to see like where does a game break, what can you do, what can you get away with, what will the game actually allow you to get away with versus like what is just like too far and it'll just completely break it. Like what are you allowed to do and what are you allowed to bend and things like that. That's a lot of fun. And also just like messing around in the games. But one of my favorite things to do, at least occasionally when I just feel like it, is to just go to a boss on a different character that I've been having a hard time with, and then just one-shotting them because it's kind of funny. Or just like doing that to like all the bosses in the game. Like they have, especially in Elden Ring, they love to have these like really big dramatic speeches about like, I am the ultimate Lord Soul, you cannot have Lord, you are dumb, tarnished, blah, all that stupid crap that they love to just just vomit out at you. Just like, look at all this lore. Don't you like the lore? Don't you like the way I'm insulting you? It's like, nah, it's not particularly. I mean, not the worst. But it's really funny for them to go through all that and then just to walk up to them and just like either like toss a very small pebble at them or just poke them once. Oh, I did skip ahead a little bit there because basically what ended up happening right there after that was I realized that, oh wow, so this was funny. Hole of Death. Oh, but I realized that at some point I apparently accidentally replaced my Estus flask on this account. I don't even know how I did that. At least I don't remember doing that. I think because I had things where I was messing around with items and stuff like that to like to play around, like hey, you can do this with this covenant or something. I think at some point I may have done that. I think it was like during the last recording or somewhere in there though. I'm guessing. Because for some reason when I was looking, it's like, oh, I just no longer have an Estus flask. I mean, to be fair, in this game I don't necessarily need it. So it's not that big of a deal, although I guess it's new challenge. New challenge, no Estus. But yeah, it's also fun to be able to do stuff like this, because when I go through and do like a melee build, normally these guys would be just really annoying and either run over there and deal with them, and there's explosives and blah 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 blah. But without that, it's like a lot more entertaining to just kind of run around and, you know, just grab random things, break random things. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to me to just kind of mess around with a lot of the different things. It's fun to try and break games and see what you can and can't do. But at the same time, I think you can't do that all the time, because I think that would just get like really boring. Like if you just sat there the entire time and were like, okay, and now literally everything's broken and I can just kill one shot everything. It's like, that's just not that interesting. Although I have done stuff like that before on certain builds where I was just like trying to see like what I just, or like, you know, I was like trying to get to like a specific area, or I'm trying to get past a certain boss just so I can do a specific thing. And it's like, okay, look, I just don't feel like fucking around with these bosses. Now, in a lot of these games, these bosses are really not that hard. I mean, I think Elden Ring has a couple of bosses that still give me a decent bit of trouble, but normally they're not that bad. It's actually funny, when I was recording the Rykard video, I was fucking up a lot on that one. I have no idea why it was so difficult. Normally Rykard's not that difficult. You know, in this game, I've personally found, since trying out the mage build, things feel even easier. Like there is very little I actually feel like I have that much difficulty with. Now, part of this is simply because, I mean, honestly, range builds feel superior because you can get away with a lot more. If you make a mistake, it's not normally the end of the world unless you put nothing into health, and it's like, okay, well, you made one mistake, now you're dead. But normally it's not like the end of the world, and you can kind of hang out for a little bit longer and sort of exist without necessarily just immediately dying or anything like that, which is pretty nice. But in melee build, I found that it's, for some bosses it's way more forgiving, and for some things it's more forgiving, but in general, just being able to just do this instead of having to run up to the silly spiders and like hit them and stuff like that is pretty nice. And also just being able to cast and attack pretty quickly and making that stamina bar like feel like it does way even more work than normal is pretty cool. I will also say that just wearing robes and just being in general just cool like that is pretty nice. I really enjoy it. Oh, also, hey, look, it's our friend. Best friend. For some reason, though, she has all those, like, weird dolls around. I don't know what that's about. Maybe she wants to be, Mama? Or, I don't know. I don't know what you would need this many, like, stone-looking dolls for. Like, I thought about it as, like, maybe a shop, but, like, I don't think people are buying... Who is buying these? Oh, wait, maybe the spiders are buying them, and then they get to lay eggs in them, and it's like, oh, hey, it's like I laid eggs in a person. They're like, yay! And they clap their little... They clap their little silly claws together, you know? And it's like, clap, 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 yay! Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't even know why I gave this lady the Lost Sinner soul. I think it was just because... Why not? I don't know. I like giving the Crow Lady stuff because she's cool. Yeah, I feel like, you know, thinking about it, I feel like this game actually has a decent number of just friendly NPCs, where a lot of the other games feel like they don't have that many friendly NPCs. But this game, like, you get a cool Crow Lady, you get to talk to a strayed man who's like, ah, you foolish, you can't handle my spells. My spells are too powerful for you, traveler. You know, this stuff like that. Or you get a friendly lady that you can give clothes to. So, you know, if you're into playing dress up, there's that. This game has some pretty cool stuff in it. And I greatly enjoyed for that. Thank you, game. Thank you, game, for having cool things that I can enjoy and clap. I had a minute here where I was just I completely forgot where I was supposed to go. I was like, what did I miss? Because I knew I missed something, because you can't get out of here. But I was like, how do I do it again? It's not the pit. I already tried that on accident. But it was like, I'm looking around. And then we can see Our Lady. We can peep at her through there. We shouldn't do that, though. That's weird. Don't stare at people without their knowledge. Please and thanks. Also, the skeleton was really pretty big. Apparently, this is a cove. I don't think we see any water, though, so I'm not 100% sure why this counts as a cove. I thought a cove was, like, right on the edge of the water. Or maybe it's a cove to the Brightstone? Maybe, I don't know. Oh, also, if you step on these little things here, they will stab your feetses. So don't step on those thingies and don't get your feetses stabbed. I do also realize that because I don't have an essence spot, it actually kind of reminds me a little bit more of Demon Souls, because in Demon Souls, you just eat the grass, and then the grass gives you magic brain healing. So that's pretty good. I do like Demon Souls. Demon Souls probably actually has some of my favorite like story in the Souls game. I really like the whole weird idea of like talking about depression and despair and melancholy, and talking about like this dude just like not wanting to live, and like how that basically leads to all of this destruction, and like people are unable to realize that they shouldn't be like embracing this path of like magic and abusing it. I think that's pretty cool. And there's also all these cool spiders. I do like the spider design in this. What is it? It's like that specific like Asian spider that they kind of remind me of. Golden orb weavers, maybe? I don't know if it's that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that. I don't actually know as much about the story in Scholar of the First Sin. I know some of the stuff, but I'm just gonna be honest with you, I've just never like looked at the story of this one, and from the stuff I've read and been like, you know what, I need more of that. I was kind of wondering why that man made a giant spider, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the lore is just because Spider cool and he was crazy. It's like, okay, thanks. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than that. Aldia is kind of interesting. We'll be seeing him shortly. And his big, weird blah, 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 voice. So then, if you're into blah, 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 type voices, hey, stick around. I do also find it funny that these spiders are riding people like backpacks. I mean, I guess if I was a spider and I would maybe ride people like a backpack. Go up to them and go, hey, go that way. I want to go that way. Why, spider? Why do you want to go that way? You already have 8 legs. You're faster than me. He's like, yeah, but my little feetsies are tired. My little pointed feetsies are tired. So, I mean, are you going to refuse giving a spider a break from its little poison feetsies? Its little poison feetsies? I don't think so. I think you're gonna give it a little tiny foot rub. They have to be like really small though, because these spiders, their feet come to like points. And it's like, well, yeah, look at this guy. He thinks he's gonna get the drop, and then he doesn't. And look at this guy. He's like, I'm gonna get y'all. It's also really nice to play a magic build and just be able to one-shot most of these things with a bunch of my spells. It is also kind of funny. I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at these guys, they have like skulls on the back of them. I feel like that was a aesthetic choice from like the magic that was used to create them. It was like, yes, but I want them to have skulls. And it's like, okay. I do think I like the spider design a lot, actually. I do like these little spiders. Do you guys like spiders? See, I think spiders are one of those good things to just like have around, and I think they're like cute and they can be good. I think sometimes like some of the spiders, if you don't know it's there, it can be very startling, but most of the time spiders are just kind of hanging out. I mean, there are some spiders that obviously you don't necessarily want hanging out too close to you, like brown recluse. But generally, if you can just leave those guys alone, I think they're generally fine. I don't think they're very aggressive. Granted, there are very few species of spider that are like aggressive towards humans. I think most of the time it's just like, oh, you're touching my nest or you're touching me. Stop it. I'm giving you a warning. Aren't I nice? Aren't I a kind spider? I do like that we just slid away. But yeah, I generally do like spiders. I'm not particularly creeped out by spiders. I mean, I don't know. They're just little creatures, you know. And itty bitty creatures are still God's creation. You still gotta hug them and love them. Well, you probably shouldn't hug a spider. You could hurt it. So don't hurt the spider. Don't hurt the spider, even though you want to share your love of all things with it. Be careful with that, huh? But you know, burn. I was considering getting some pyromancies, but then I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying just having the big, bright, weird spells that let us pray. It is also kind of interesting. I think this is the only game that had like the Skeptic's Spice and the what is the other one? Simpleton Spice. It's not very nice to call them simpletons, implying that if they don't have a bunch of levels in intelligence, they're not actually as smart. Although, I've talked about that before, where I don't really think that intelligence in something like, excuse me, D&D or Pathfinder or whatever is actually like a representation of like what we would understand as intelligence. I think that they're definitely like separate things. But yeah, it is kind of interesting to think about like how those things actually kind of work together. I really like Ashen Knight Boyd's armor. He basically just has like the Royal Soldier's armor. Yeah, I just like that armor set a lot. Although it kind of reminds me of something like from Star Wars. Now, would you say that these things are like related to that big one there? I guess we're not getting a very good look at it now, but to me, it seems like they really don't look like they actually like match up all that much, you know? Yeah, like see, this thing looks very different, and then I get shot by it anyway. This fight is also very easy. Normally, and it was pretty easy as a spellcaster. Basically, the only thing that ever made it kind of frustrating was that I would occasionally have to like to move. Oh, look at it! Look at what it did there. Because you can only really hurt it from like one particular angle, so that's kind of annoying. But it's okay. I do also find it funny that we just crushed the gems, and that apparently does what we need to do. So basically, if you're wondering, with this boss, you can only hurt it like on one of its two heads, and you have to basically, since I'm casting spells here, I just have to go back and forth and just like continuously do this. Ashen Knight Boyd here is basically just trying to make it even easier. And, you know, thank him for that. He's a cool guy, a real stand-up gentleman. We should all go to his house afterwards and tell him that he did a good job and pat him on the head and give him a fun little dance. Don't you think we should give him a fun little dance? I think we should give him a fun little dance. But, yeah, he's a pretty neat guy just for doing this. Although I was getting mildly... Oh, oopsie. I was just kind of going like, what in the heck is going on, man? Why are you constantly shifting back and forth? Stop it, spider. Stop it, spider. But then like it was focused on him on the other end, so I just got over here and just did this. And it's kind of nice. Something I'm realizing is that in this and in Elden Ring, you can just cast really fast. Which is pretty good. Look, this thing at some point caught a gigantic dragon. Isn't that neat? Isn't it neat that it caught a dragon? I think that's pretty cool. And then I had to deal with these extra spiders. Because why not? Because sometimes you have to deal with spoders who want to be mean to you. And you have to kill them. And, you know, hey man... you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Know what I mean? Sometimes people really are these all-stars and they just need a moment to, you know, exist like this. I'm pretty sure you come back here later and you interact with the dragon once you have the right thing and you can go into the memory of the dragon. I don't remember where it takes you though. Funny enough, I don't remember where the member of the member dragon dragon berries. But then you get to go in over here and look, this is the guy who made the Freja. Free. So I kill him, and I cast twice to be extra certain. You kind of gotta wonder what's like written in all these books. I was like, well, maybe something cool. Maybe I could learn how to build my own giant spider friend, and then I could ride it around. You know, I was thinking about buying an Arachnarok miniature, like one of those giant spiders that all the goblins ride on, because I thought that would be kind of cool. But I haven't done it yet. I might, though. Gotta think about that a little bit. Look, it's Aldia. Everybody's favorite Dark Souls character, Aldia. The character that we all aspire to look like one day. To look like a big Trevor. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Uh-huh. No, I just killed a spider. Uh-huh. Oh, almost became a true monarch. He wasn't even a true monarch. Although when you see him, he's really tall and he has a big crown and he smells vaguely of royalty. So, you know, I don't know, isn't that close enough? And then this guy slurps himself back into the ground. What a slurping disaster, I say. But hey, it's all good in the hood. Are we in the hood? I don't think so. This is just a place where spiders are. Do spiders go to the hood? Maybe. We'll have to talk to a spider and see what they say. But then we get to go back here to this place and we get to exist perpetually within cool guy lands, doing more magic stuff, buying more things, showing them the ways of the people. Not a mean Jimmy Dean? And, you know, we used one of our souls. We got Duke's Dear Freya. Has, I think it's on the second playthrough. You can use that to get the Moonlight Greatsword. Or there's something else you can get to get the Moonlight Greatsword. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, thanks everybody for stopping by. And I just wanted you to know that I love you and God loves you. Bye. See you next time.